were young, what what job do you want to do, or what do you want to be when you grow up?
It's it's funny because now I'm studying journalism, and that's kind of the person I wanted to be when I was young. And so when I was like um in middle school, I wanted to become a reporter, but like back then I didn't know why were the reasons that I wanted to be. As I grow up, I understood this whole journalism field better, and I found being a reporter was definitely amazing. So that's why I'm now studying journalism, and yeah, I wanted to be a really good reporter.
Okay, so you want to be a reporter.
Mm,
So, but when you were young, you want to be a journalist.
yeah,
Now you want to be a reporter.
I think they're the same.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. So, who do you admire when you were young? What's your like idol?
My dad.
The dad. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool. Um, so when you were young, you want to be a journalist,
Mhm.
and so is there any issues, or do you think it's difficult to be one when you're young? Like, do you know how to be a journalist though? Like, I wanted to be a pianist when I was
Mhm.
young, but I know pianists need to
Okay.
practice every
Yeah.
day, so that's hard.
Okay, so when I was young, I loved writing. So I kind of kept a lot of journals every day, and I liked to like write something down when I don't know, like when I found something like really fascinating. And this kind of prompted me to like I don't know, have that dream of being a reporter or journalist. I didn't know like
Mhm.
how journalism works, but right now, as I'm taking a lot of journalism classes, I definitely know. But back then, I didn't have a clue about journalism.
So you said you
I like
admire,
writing.
yeah, so you keep writing and
Yeah.
you practice it.
Mhm.
So you said you admire your dad. So why? Is it because he is a journalist? Or
No, my dad is not a journalist, but I always say to my friends that my dad is kind of a friend of mine, and he is really like we I don't know, we share a lot of similarities. I don't know, it's because he's my dad, or I don't know, we like the same writers, and we both like to like run it. And we do a lot of things together, and I don't know, he's like the kind of person I look up to. And
okay.
he loves writing as well. So he definitely taught me a lot of skills in terms of writing. And he knows a lot of like books or literature that I could read when I was young. So he's kind of like the leader of um my whole like career dream. So
Wow,
that's why I admire him.
that's amazing. So
Yeah.
when you were growing up and then maybe um like you are a teenage when you're like in middle school, did your goal change? Will you still want to be a reporter or journalist?
Um yes and no.
Oh,
Like I always wanted to be a reporter, and I knew it. I'm really dedicated to like doing anything related to journalism. But I know as an international student, I'm from China and now I'm studying in the US. The whole like journalism thing is really different in here than in China. And I kind of encountered a lot of like differences, cultural differences, and like society issues that are really different back home. So sometimes I just wanted to, give up because things are a lot more different here. But my goal is to be a good reporter, so it's still here. And yeah, so yes and no.
Oh, okay. Mhm. So journalism is always like one of your interests or goal that you want to do.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool. And this is even more, and then you came to BU. Did you even apply like to the journalism program before, like for college?
So
Did you
when
apply?
specifically journalism at
Yeah.
BU? Yeah, I
when
did.
You did. Wow. So you know what you're going to study when you're
Yeah.
in BU.
Mhm.
So you have a clear goal.
So BU, it's my like top
Oh,
choice,
okay.
and I got in. Yeah.
Good. That's like dream come true.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Is there a specific writer or reporter that you look up to?
I can't think of any of them on top of my
Or
head
any
right now.
agency or news or papers?
I don't have a really specific like legacy newspaper that I
Okay.
really. I don't know. I always look at like different articles or different approaches reporters use.
Mhm.
I look up to them like really critically. So I kind of, I don't know. I read a lot of articles and I kind of analyze them. And I don't have like that. I don't have, I don't know, like my favorite agency or newspaper. I have definitely my favorite articles, but not like the newspaper.
Okay. So we were talking about how difficult it is to get a job at a print company as an international student in the US. So why is it difficult?
Because trend journalism requires a lot of writing skills, and I'm a Chinese speaker. I have to get used to writing everything in English, like really advanced English. So this is, I think, the biggest challenge. And also, I come from a really different cultural background than like a lot of people growing up in the United States. So this is another like challenge. And as far as I know, there are not a lot of like international folks in the journalism field. So I guess this is another like issue.
So based on what you're saying, you're experiencing language barrier, culture barrier,
Mhm.
and you feel lonely because there are just not that many international students in your
Um,
field. Or
I yeah, kind of.
yeah, okay. Do you feel you have support when you need them?
Support from.
Like if you have any trouble, how do you overcome them? Or,
I most of the time, to be honest, I overcome myself.
okay.
I talk to my friends as well, but in terms of like problems related to journalism, I have to deal with them myself most of the time. I do have like friends also studying journalism, but we have like clearly different paths. Some of them wanted to study like photojournalism, but my goal is to like write. So I think it's another big thing that I learned when I came to US is to like always, I don't know, being independent and I don't know, just like knowing ways to cope with those, I don't know, whether it's physical or mental difficulties.
Okay. Hmm. Do you feel that Boston University gives you enough support, like offices or resources that you can go to?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's just for me, I guess. I have a lot of friends and they just always said there's not enough support and they like didn't know who to like talk to when they were in trouble. I think the issues with a lot of international students are that we did sometimes just didn't know what the resources are and where to find them. But for me, I like it's a personal thing, but I really like to ask questions. So I ask a lot of questions to my professors and advisors. So that's why I know where I can go to when I'm in trouble. Not in trouble, when I have like problems to deal with.
Um, did you go to American high school or you
No.
no, okay. So are there any people from your home that studies at BU or any friends? No.
No,
So
it's just me.
how do you make friends with Chinese students after coming here?
I guess it's because we all speak Chinese. It's
Oh,
like kind of flows very naturally when it comes to making friends with them. We
okay.
just became friends.
So how long does it take you to have friends at BU? A semester or
One
a
of my
month?
best friends, we met each other on the first day.
Wow,
So it's not that hard to make friends here.
that's really quick. I think.
Yeah.
Oh. Hmm. Do you know Boston University have a lot of international students, or you don't
I think
before?
every school
So many
in the
international.
US have a lot of international
Okay.
students.
Yeah. Hmm. So you are at COM. So do you feel lonely studying at COM as an international student, or no? You have like friends, international friends, or you make friends with American friends.
I have friends both from China and from here.
Oh,
I don't feel lonely studying at COM. There's definitely a lot of international students in COM, but journalism not that many. But I don't know, like I never felt lonely in terms of like studying because I know what I'm going for and I know who to ask for help.
okay. That's good. And so you mentioned language as an issue. So you are Chinese, and then if you want to work for an American newspaper, you have to think and write and
Mhm.
speak in English as the American
Yeah.
does. So do you feel that's challenging?
I think it's always a challenge, no matter how good I'm like at speaking English. It's kind of like your mother tongue, like it doesn't change. But like every time I spoke English, I had to like think before it came out of my mouth. But for Chinese, it just came like very naturally. So it's, I don't know, it's definitely a challenge. Not that uh, not that big of a challenge, but yeah, definitely is.
So while we were talking about support and resources, you said many Chinese students, they might have some questions, but they just don't know where to find them. And then you said language is might be the reason. Can you show me an example?
Hmm.
Or were there any issues that you ran into because of you can't speak English or because you can't understand something?
Mm, I can't think of
Like
any.
when you came to BU, probably maybe for the first time, you have to speak with many people, and were you having trouble expressing your thoughts?
Oh, for me,
Yeah,
I did.
or
It's
maybe
when I
ordering
was
food, buying stuff, or
I
transporting.
yeah, for me, I think I did for a very short period of time, but I did. So when I first came to BU, I intentionally was looking for a lot of like clubs. So I thought clubs might help me to like adjust to campus life more easily. So I joined a club, an a cappella group on
Oh.
campus. And I was the only international student there. So
Okay.
after right after I joined the club, I definitely felt a little bit lonely. It's not because I couldn't speak English, it's that like I don't know, like for people speaking different languages, they have like different mindsets. So I always felt
Yeah.
this way. But after like we became really close friends, things were getting better. So
Okay. Did anyone when they're asking what's your name, you say you're Luwa,
yeah.
and then do you feel that they're having trouble like understanding that, or was that a concern? Why like I know you also have an English
Yeah, I
name,
do.
so when you introduce yourself, do you use your English name or your Chinese name?
Yeah, it's it depends.
Okay.
I don't know, like it's weird when I introduce myself to like non-Chinese speakers. I just introduce myself as Elena, but uh I don't know, like when I met Chinese folks, we just spoke Chinese. So I just told them my Chinese name. But I know like almost all international students have an English name because I think we think it's better to have an English name to like really blend in with the culture here. And also it's another issue when it comes to journalism because the byline requires an official name. So I like kind of started to introduce myself as Luwa to like not Chinese speakers as well. So
Yeah. So you're in comm, so you must write and speak a lot. So when your professor assign you a homework, perhaps maybe your first paper or first presentation, were you nervous, and how do you like about your English?
yeah, I did. I was.
Yeah.
And what was the question?
So how did you overcome them, and then or you're still
So I think I was taking a writing class when I was a freshman, and like for my first paper, I was definitely really nervous about it. So I just talked to my professor a lot. I emailed her like almost like every day. So I asked her a lot of questions, and she was really helpful, and she like told me a lot of tips when it comes to writing. So that helped a lot. And in terms of like presentation, I think it's just I spent a lot of time like just practicing. So I still am nervous right now when I'm like making a presentation, but things are getting better, I guess.
Okay, good. And yeah. So you want to study journalism, and is there an economic reason or political reason that you want to study it? Like in terms of like what lifestyles you want to have after studying, why like do you just like the life of a journalist, or you want to make the money, or are these reasons
So
impacting
first of all, it's
you?
not about the money.
Okay,
Because
so-
reporters don't earn
Oh,
much money.
okay.
So
So it's not economic.
no. Political, I'm not
I'm
sure.
not sure. Okay.
Uh, I think almost everybody knows like China has a really
Mm,
how do I say it? Like
um,
journalism in China has to like go through very strict censorship.
yeah.
So um when I was growing up, I like because I love writing, so I like read a lot of books, a lot more books than like my friends, even like many adults. So I knew I don't know, like I I was always like trying to understand different aspects of a thing.
Mm,
So I was trying to like think differently
mm,
for like a single event in terms of like how it happened and like who caused it to happen, like something like this. So I was always trying to like think from many aspects very
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
And I know like journalism in China is kind of horrible,
Mhm.
and I think this is kind of the reason why I chose to like study journalism in the US,
Okay.
because here we have more freedom in terms of reporting and writing, like and choosing the topics that we want to write.
Mhm.
And when we like reach out to people for our interviews, they're more likely to say yes here
Okay.
than in China.
Oh.
So
So you
yeah.
can look at things from different perspectives, and then you can reach out to people easily.
Yeah, so that's the thing
Okay.
I like the most studying journalism here is that I could like literally reach out to anyone if I want to interview them.
Like President Brown.
Yeah, but in
Okay.
China it's not always the case.
Oh. So you said cultural differences. So I know you are in this club that all of them are Americans. What do they do that are different from what you do? Like, what do they eat? What do they go like to place?
It's funny because I'm the only international student, but the rest of the group, like they're all Asian Americans.
Oh,
So we have some like common things, but it's just like the environment where we grew up
are different.
are different, and we approach things differently. And I think another important thing is that this group is a Christian group.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a Christian,
Okay.
So I have to like absorb a lot of information when I was just trying to talking to them. So yeah.
Do you feel that when they're talking about something, you just don't understand, then you have to learn what they are talking about?
Yeah, so I did understand in terms of the language, but
Mhm.
not like the context of that.
Okay.